Hello and a warm welcome from Lee Anthony Davis on my YouTube channel. Welcome. As you know, today I'm going to be doing my Doctor Who Super Quiz. 100 questions will be asked, and I'm decided to break it into 5 days, so I'll do 20 questions a day. And then I will follow it up with 20 answers the next day, and I'll do the same vice versa with the rest of it as well. So it'll be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday will be the 5 days that I'm covering. So I've decided to do 20 questions, break it up and then make it much easier. Otherwise it could go on for about an hour and a half. I don't fancy that. So anyway, before we get started, let me tell you first what's coming up, what I've been up to. But before I do that, get yourself a pen and paper so it gives you a chance to get away from me for a few minutes. So anyway, before we start the super quiz, if you can recall, at the start of the year, I've got a video up and everything. It's about my resolutions. I've got 10 resolutions. I've done 4 already. As you recall, I've got 100 subscribers on YouTube. I've got 100 followers on Instagram. I've got 300 followers on Twitter. And I've just created 150 groups. And they're now up and running on Facebook. The other 2 are close at hand. That's the one where I pass my exams. And the other one is when I write a script and then send it off to the BBC. It's nearly done. I've got to get it typed out. And as soon as it's done, and as soon as the exams have been finished and I've received my certificates, I will show it to prove to you on here. So I won't sort of just say it. I will show you it. It's the old saying, don't tell them. Or shall I say, yeah, don't tell them, show them. So I want to prove that I'm not just making these up. You know what I mean? So anyway, shall we begin? Have you got the pen and paper? Right. Remember, 20 questions. And then tomorrow at 6 o'clock, I'll post the answers up. And then we'll be back here for the second part of the Doctor Who Super Quiz, Sunday at 9 o'clock. So anyway, I'll let you know about that after we finish. So anyway, shall we get going then? Let's go. Right, you ready? Question 1. Including Joe Patterson, that's the Prime Minister that was in Revolution of the Daleks. How many fictional Prime Ministers have been seen and heard in Doctor Who? Including Joe Patterson, how many fictional Prime Ministers have been seen and heard in Doctor Who? Question 2. Including Joe Patterson, how many Prime Ministers have died in office in Doctor Who? Including Joe Patterson, how many Prime Ministers have died in office in Doctor Who? Question 3. Who's the only real-life Prime Minister to appear as a character? Who is the only real-life Prime Minister to appear as a character? Number 4. Which real-life Prime Minister drank the Doctor under the table? Which real-life Prime Minister drank the Doctor under the table? Question 5. Who was the first real-life Prime Minister to be mentioned by name in Doctor Who? Question 5 again. Who was the first real-life Prime Minister to be mentioned by name in Doctor Who? Question 6. And who's the most recent live Prime Minister to be mentioned on screen? Who's the most recent real-life Prime Minister to be mentioned on screen? Question 7. What episode was partly set in an unnamed location that might have been Liverpool, judging by their accents? I'll repeat the question again. Which episode was partly set in an unnamed location that might have been Liverpool, judging by their accents? Question 8. Which space facility included bulkheads built in Liverpool? Which space facility included bulkheads built in Liverpool? Right, moving on to question 9. A 1996 Vodafone advert set in Liverpool linked the words of Doctor Who and which cult American television drama? I'll repeat that again. A 1996 Vodafone advert set in Liverpool linked the words of Doctor Who and which cult American television drama? Question 10. Name the 4 Liverpool-born actors who played the TARDIS Travellers. In other words, 2 doctors, who were they? And 2 companions, who were they? And which one of them was also the first to mention the city on screen, their home city, that is? Right, question 11. Which northern town is the birthplace of 2 companions, one from the TV series and one from the audio series? Which northern town is the birthplace of the 2 companions, one on television and one on the audio? Right, question 12. Which story partly set in a 11th century monastery in Northumberland? Which story is partly set in an 11th century monastery in Northumberland? Question 13, unlucky for some. Which story is partly set in a 13th century monastery in Cumbria? Which story is partly set in a 13th monastery in Cumbria? Right, moving on to question, what's that, 14, right, 14, we're at 14, it's alright. Which other football ground can be seen in a 13th Doctor episode? Which other football ground can be seen in a 13th Doctor episode? That's Matt Smith's era, by the way. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's right. No, sorry, the 11th Doctor, the 13th, sorry, Jodie Whittaker. I do apologise, Jodie Whittaker. Right, question 15. In which stories were the following football clubs mentioned? In which stories were the following football clubs mentioned? Was it Manchester City, Charlton Athletic, or West Ham? And also, this is a 2-parter. And in which story did Yaz imagine herself as a former Liverpool goalkeeper? Could you imagine that? And in which story did Yaz imagine herself as a former Liverpool goalkeeper? Right, moving on. I think this one's to do with the classics. Here we go. That is question 15, what I've just given you. Question 16. In which 2 stories can the Beatles be heard playing on the jukebox? In which 2 stories can the Beatles be heard playing on the jukebox? Or jukeboxes? Right, question 17. The Beatles song heard in those stories in the broadcast television episode. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. I'll do it again. Can you name the 3 Beatles songs heard in those stories in the broadcast television episodes? That means the ones that went out in the 60s. There's a clue. I'll repeat that one again. Can you name the 3 Beatles songs heard in those stories in the broadcast television episodes? Right, we've got 3 more to go, thank God. Question 18. In which story is the Beatles album Rubber Soul conspicuously not played? Conspicuously, my vocabulary is terrible. I'll repeat that question again. In which story is the Beatles album Rubber Soul conspicuously, conspicuous, I can't even say it, bloody damn it, conspicuously not played? Okay. Right, question 19. In which stories do the Beatles song, let's see, just reading it out again, my writing's terrible. I'll read that out again. In which stories do the Beatles song titles A Hard Day's Night and Here Comes the Sun crop up in the Doctor's dialogue? You ready? I'll read that one again because it is a bit complicated, that. In which stories do the Beatles song titles A Hard Day Night and Here Comes the Sun crop up in the Doctor's dialogue? Right, and finally, question 20. Who was misquoted the lyrics to I Am the Walrus? Who once misquoted the lyrics to I Am the Walrus? I'll give you a clue. It's one of the assistants from the 1970s. Uh, shall I say between 1970 and 1975. Right, that's all I'm going to give you. Right, so that's it. That's all 20 questions given. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a bit convoluted with a little bit of vocabulary there, but I'm sure you'll get beyond that point. I'll be back at 6 o'clock with the 20 answers to the questions I've just given. If you missed the questions, you can watch this video again. And so basically, good luck. This will test your knowledge. It's a bit of fun, remember, just fun. There's no prizes. There's no holidays abroad. You get nothing. You just get a congratulations from me for being so clever, you know. So anyway, I'll repeat those questions. I'll be giving the answers to those questions, all 20 of them, at 6 o'clock. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock with the second set of questions for the second part of this Super Doctor Who quiz. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I might not be your idea of a compare, but I like doing them anyway. So it's a big thank you to those 100. I've got 121 subscribers, so I thought I'd do something like this for them, just to show my appreciation for subscribing to my channel. So anyway, thanks a lot. I appreciate you watching. If you didn't watch and you watch later, I still appreciate it. And I'll see you at 6 o'clock tomorrow. So thanks for watching and bye for now.